there has to be a point of interest, a connection with the child, so that the education is useful and purposeful. And then we can, using soccer, I would always use soccer for anything you were stuck on. If I wanted to talk to you about math or finance, I remember we had a chat around football, and what's the size of the football pitch and how do you measure it? And so what's the length, what's the width? And so I was basically talking about math, but you didn't feel it because you're talking about a soccer pitch, which you love. We spoke about clubs, and I remember asking you the question once, how does FC Barcelona make money? And can they afford to pay Messi's salary? Yes. Can, Brentford in the Premier League, can they afford to pay Messi? No. Why? What do you think is going on? They make more money. Why? And the whole discussion was around getting you to see how the revenue stream of a football club works. So it is the tickets, but it's also the TV revenue. So we had this fantastic discussion about how football teams make money. The purpose was to talk about generally how revenue streams work and what they mean, and if you have them, what you can afford and not, and why there are different clubs with different amounts of budgets. But the soccer was just the tool for if I was talking to another child who was interested in something else, we'd be talking about something else, but saying the same questions, right? So with the need identified, what would then happen is on the periphery, you take these 20, 30 students, you've worked with them, and these systems, by the way, I'm referring to exist. And by the way, I'm not a great creator of these systems. I'm just a very good observer, and I can find these things and connect them, connect the dots and see which ones will become bigger and which ones meet the needs of the future more. So all these things I'm referring to are from real life examples, still niche, but they do exist. So once the needs are identified, the project is identified, the purpose is identified, then the peripheral class, the traditional knowledge download lessons become, here's some info, so let's do art. The big movements in art, these are the big, most popular ones, and here's an overview that's age appropriate for whatever age you're at. Now, each of you go back to your projects and design the websites for your project. So you're maybe building a soccer academy. The student next to you is working on an air filtration dome. The one next to you is building some sort of fashion boutique, their dream. And all of you are doing math. All of you are doing art. All of you are doing business. All of you are doing, all these subjects, but they are embedded in your projects. And so they're learned in a purposeful, meaningful way. And guess what? As these projects shift and your interests go from here, this project goes in that direction to this direction, the question later on at age 17, 18 of what will I do becomes a lot easier. You're actually getting ready for that and moving into it seamlessly, rather than this, if you remember the last discussion, this train 300 kilometers an hour, and then suddenly you stop at a station, like, what do you want to do? And you've never practiced this question. So that gives you a bit of an idea of what true project-based learning is. And just for you can start to think of potential risks and downsides. That's the natural thing people think of when we talk about new systems. What are you talking about, and how will it? Every child is doing their own thing, and how will you figure that out? You need so many teachers. You actually need less, because the children are engaged and happy. So there's a lot less behavior management. There's a lot less frustration and boredom by the students. So you're not wasting your time with all these detentions, and kids actually enjoy going to school. Right? So you're liberating a lot of resources. Guess what? The staff love it much more. Teachers are way more excited, believe me, to be working with students who are excited about their projects, and where the teacher gets to be a facilitator and to be creative, rather than this is the 20th cycle of I'm teaching chapter 7, 8, 9, and 10 in the same way, every single year, right? So they have their own issues with numbing themselves to get through this, just the drone of the repetitive cycle every year, and the students are getting more difficult because of the things we spoke about. Life is getting more interesting outside and faster, and they're struggling to keep up. And so the gap between the interest and engagement of students is getting greater. So yeah, that's a glimpse into middle school to high school.